The Galactic Victory. The emergence of the Empire. The battle was over. The Galactic Coalition had won. Across the stars, the victorious fleet floated like shining jewels in the darkness of space. Thousands of warships, their hulls gleaming under distant suns, stood together in a massive formation. Banners of different alien species waved on holographic displays. The commanders of the Galactic Coalition broadcasted their victory across the known universe. They had crushed humanity. For years, the war between Earth and the Galactic Coalition had raged across countless star systems. The humans had fought with everything they had: strategy, cunning, and sheer determination. But in the end, their resistance had failed. The last human strongholds had been destroyed. The final battleships had been wiped out. Their colonies were reduced to ashes, their people scattered or dead. The Coalition's High Council declared the war over. The enemy, humanity, was extinct. And so, the celebration began. Alien soldiers cheered, their voices mixing into a symphony of victory. Bright lights and energy beams lit up the void as the fleet rejoiced. Drinks were poured. Music echoed through the vast command decks of the warships. The admirals of the Coalition laughed and toasted their success. "This war was a mistake," said Admiral Volfar, a towering reptilian leader from the Drakthal Empire. He raised his silver goblet. "The humans should have surrendered long ago. They had no chance against us." "They were stubborn," replied a Xilarian officer, his many glowing eyes flickering with amusement. "Foolish creatures. Now, they are gone. The galaxy is finally united under our rule." The High Council of the Coalition gathered on their flagship, a massive dreadnought named Eternal Dominion, the pride of the Galactic Fleet. From there, they sent a message across the stars. Humanity has fallen. Earth belongs to the Galactic Empire. The future of the galaxy is now secure. The announcement spread to every corner of the universe. The news reached thousands of alien worlds, where people celebrated the final destruction of the only species that had ever threatened the Coalition's dominance. But amidst the celebration, there were a few who did not cheer. Some of the older warriors remembered the battles with humanity. They had seen the way humans fought. They had witnessed the relentless nature of their soldiers. Humanity had never given up, not even in the face of total destruction. An old Zorvax general stood silently in the command deck of his cruiser, watching the stars. His deep-set eyes narrowed as he listened to the cheers of his crew. He had fought against humans on the front lines. He had seen their technology, their tactics, their spirit, and something in his mind whispered a warning. "Strange," he muttered to himself. "The humans never stopped fighting before. Why did they fall so easily now?" His second in command, a younger officer, scoffed. "Because they were weak, General. They just put up a good show before dying." The old general did not respond. Something did not feel right. Meanwhile, in the vastness of space, unknown to the celebrating Coalition, the void shifted. Strange distortions flickered in the distance, like invisible ripples in the darkness. It was subtle, almost impossible to notice among the thousands of warships gathered in the system. The Coalition's radar stations detected brief fluctuations, glitches in their scans, small distortions that disappeared before they could be analyzed. The technicians dismissed them as nothing. The admirals ignored them. And so, the celebration continued. Across the Coalition's massive fleet, alien officers relaxed for the first time in years. The war was over. There was no more danger. Humanity was gone. But they were wrong. Deep in the void, something was moving. Something colossal. And soon, the Galactic Coalition would realize their greatest mistake. The war was not over. It had just begun. The silence before the storm. The celebration continued, filling the void of space with lights and laughter. The Galactic Coalition believed they had won the greatest war in history. But the void disagreed. Far beyond the edge of the Coalition's fleet, something moved in the shadows of space. Something vast, something unseen. Distortions. At first, they were small, nothing more than brief glitches on the Coalition's long-range scanners. Readings would flicker for a second, then disappear. The alien technicians assumed it was interference from the energy fields of their own warships. After all, they had gathered thousands of vessels in one place. What else could it be? And yet, some of them hesitated. A low-level technician aboard the warship Prelok's Wrath frowned as he looked at his screen. Another anomaly, he muttered. His superior, a Xelarian officer with 4 glowing eyes, glanced over his shoulder. Ignore it. Just system noise. But sir, it's moving. These distortions, they're shifting positions. The officer sighed, waving a dismissive hand. Then the system is faulty. The war is over, technician. Enjoy the moment. The technician hesitated, his fingers hovering over the console. But the officer had spoken. He took a deep breath and nodded. Yes, sir. The anomaly vanished from the screen. The last warning disappeared. The shadows grow. The Eternal Dominion, the flagship of the Coalition's fleet, floated at the heart of the gathering. Inside its grand command chamber, high-ranking admirals stood in victory. A large holographic display showed the remains of humanity's shattered defenses, proof of their dominance. The last human colony has been wiped out, and Androx's commander reported proudly. Admiral Volthar grinned. The Coalition's warships responded instantly. Thousands of plasma cannons, energy lances, and missile turrets locked onto the unknown Dreadnought. A storm of firepower erupted through space, lighting up the void in a blinding blaze. The force of the barrage could shatter moons, tear apart entire space stations. But as the energy waves reached the Dreadnought, nothing happened. The weapons struck an invisible barrier, an energy shield far beyond anything the galaxy had ever encountered. Not a single scratch appeared on the Dreadnought's hull. Then it returned fire. One single shot. A glowing sphere of pure annihilation formed at the Dreadnought's center. The energy pulse hummed with an eerie silence. Then, in a blink, it launched toward the nearest Coalition warship. The Araxian Wrath, a battlecruiser with thick armor plating and powerful shields, was the unlucky target. The human Dreadnought's weapon made no sound, just a flash of light, a moment of absolute stillness. Then, the Araxian Wrath ceased to exist. There was no explosion, no wreckage, just emptiness where a mighty warship had once floated. The Coalition officers stared in horror. A single shot had erased a warship. This was not normal warfare. This was something else. This was extermination. The counterattack, a futile effort. Panic erupted among the Coalition forces. Admirals screamed orders. More ships opened fire, unleashing a second, larger barrage. But more Dreadnoughts emerged from the void. Dozens. They moved like shadows, silent and unstoppable. Another shot fired. Another Coalition ship vanished. Retreat. A Xelarian commander screamed. We must regroup. But retreat was impossible. The Dreadnoughts had surrounded the Coalition fleet. Every escape route was cut off. Communications were jammed. The Coalition's vast war fleet, the greatest armada ever assembled, was trapped. Humanity had been declared extinct. Now, it was humanity's turn to decide who would go extinct. The message, Earth speaks. As the Galactic Coalition's forces crumbled, a single transmission broke through their blocked channels. A voice, calm, cold, and undeniably human, echoed across every warship's bridge. You thought it was over. It has just begun. The last thing Admiral Volthar saw before his flagship's shields collapsed was the unstoppable might of the Dreadnought fleet moving closer. And in that moment, he understood the truth. The war was never over. It had only just begun. The desperate counterattack. Continuation. The Galactic Coalition had fought many wars. They had conquered entire civilizations, crushed rebellions, and wiped out species that resisted their rule. They believed they had seen everything. But this was something else. The battlefield turns to a graveyard. The Coalition fleet had been massive. a grand symbol of their power. Thousands of warships, from sleek cruisers to planetary siege carriers, had gathered in what was supposed to be a victory celebration. Now it was a massacre. The human dreadnoughts moved through the battlefield like reapers, cutting down ships with terrifying precision. Every time the coalition tried to regroup, the humans struck again, faster than anyone could react. Entire formations collapsed. Admirals screamed over the comms, demanding reinforcements, but no one answered. The coalition's networks were jammed, their signals lost in static. Volthar clenched his fists, his claws digging into the control panel. "We are the greatest empire in the galaxy," he hissed. "We do not lose." But as he looked at the battle unfolding before him, he knew the truth. They weren't losing. They had already lost. A final, desperate gamble. Volthar's mind raced. There had to be a way out. Then a thought struck him. A final gamble. The coalition still had one last option. The planet crackers. "Bring the superweapons online," he ordered. His officers hesitated, eyes wide with fear. "Sir, if we fire those now, we might." "I do not tar," Volthar roared. "Do it. Now." The coalition still had 3 planet cracker ships, each one carrying weapons designed to wipe out entire worlds in a single strike. If they couldn't win this battle, they would burn the battlefield to ashes. The dreadnoughts react. The 3 planet crackers moved into position, their massive energy cores glowing like small suns. They would fire, and in doing so, they would destroy everything, human and alien alike. Volthar grinned. "If we are to fall, then we will take them with us." But before a single weapon could be fired, the human dreadnoughts moved. For the first time in the battle, the humans broke formation. They reacted. They had been waiting for this. The lead human dreadnought, a monstrous warship the size of a moon, turned its cannons toward the first planet cracker. A single shot erased it from existence. The second dreadnought fired. The second planet cracker vanished. The last ship had no time to react before it, too, was wiped from reality. 3 shots, 3 doomsday weapons, gone. The coalition's last hope had been destroyed in the blink of an eye. The message, a warning to the galaxy. Volthar stood frozen. It was over. The human dreadnoughts halted their attack. They had proven their point. A single transmission, calm and deliberate, was sent to every surviving coalition ship. A human voice, cold and unforgiving, spoke only one sentence. The war was never over. The real war begins now. Across the fleet, ships shut down their weapons. Admirals gave the order to retreat. No one wanted to fight anymore. Because now, they understood. Humanity had returned. And this time, they were unstoppable. The last stand, or the beginning of the end. The once mighty Galactic Coalition fleet was in ruins. What had started as a celebration had become a slaughter. Thousands of ships had been erased. The Coalition's most powerful warships destroyed. Their planet crackers, meant to end worlds, eliminated before they could even fire. Now what remained of the greatest armada in the galaxy was retreating, running, fleeing in absolute terror. The final order, survive at any cost. Admiral Volthar stood on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, his face frozen in shock. He had never lost a battle. He had never run from a fight. But now, he had no choice. All remaining ships, retreat, he ordered, his voice cracking. "Get us out of here. Now." His officers scrambled to obey. Engines roared to life as what was left of the Coalition fleet turned to escape. Hyperdrives charge. But the dreadnoughts did not let them go. The dreadnought's final judgment. Across the battlefield, the human fleet moved. For the first time, they did not fire. Instead, they let the fleeing ships watch. One final message was transmitted across all surviving Coalition warships. A warning. A human voice, as calm and emotionless as before, spoke again. "The Galactic Coalition is over. Earth is watching. Run." Spread the word. The galaxy is no longer yours. Then the Dreadnoughts stopped their advance. The last coalition ships jumped into hyperspace, escaping into the darkness. The battle was over, and humanity had won. The galaxy reacts. A new era begins. Across the universe, the news spread like wildfire. The Galactic Coalition, the oldest and most powerful empire in history, had been broken in a single battle. The humans, thought to be extinct, had returned, and they were stronger than anyone had ever imagined. Fear spread through the alien civilizations. If the coalition, with all its might, had fallen so easily, then what chance did anyone else have? No one knew what the humans wanted. No one knew where they had been. And worst of all, no one knew where they would strike next. A silent victory, but a war yet to come. Deep within the void, the Dreadnoughts remained, unmoving, their black hulls absorbing the starlight. They did not chase the coalition. They did not conquer any worlds. They did not speak again. They simply waited. Because humanity was patient, they had waited for years, building their weapons in the darkness. Now, they would wait again, because this was only the beginning. And the galaxy had no idea what was coming next. The message to the galaxy. The Galactic Coalition was broken. The once great rulers of the stars, the architects of countless conquests, had fled in terror. Their mighty warships, their planetary siege fleets, their vast empire, all meaningless now, because humanity had returned. And with them came judgment. The survivors' warning. Across the coalition's remaining star systems, emergency transmissions flooded the airwaves. Admirals, generals, and planetary leaders sent desperate messages, telling their people the unthinkable truth. The humans are alive. Their fleet is unstoppable. We are no longer the rulers of the galaxy. For the first time in history, the Galactic Coalition was afraid. And it wasn't just them. From the wealthy core worlds to the lawless outer rim, every alien civilization heard the whispers. Humanity had survived. And now, they were stronger than ever. The Great Silence. The Dreadnoughts had disappeared. After annihilating the Coalition's fleet, the human warships had vanished into the void, leaving only ruins and fear behind. They did not send diplomats. They did not claim territory. They did not demand surrender. They simply left. And that was the most terrifying part of all, because no one knew when or where they would return. The galaxy had seen humanity's wrath, but they had not yet seen humanity's plan. Earth speaks, the final warning. 3 days after the battle, the entire galaxy received a single transmission. Every ship, every colony, every world, even those that had not been part of the war, heard it. A simple, chilling message. A human voice, calm and deliberate, spoke to the entire universe. The war was never over. You thought we were weak. You thought we were gone. You were wrong. From this moment forward, the galaxy belongs to no one. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek alliances. We do not seek revenge. But if you cross us again, the transmission ended. No threats, no demands, just a promise. The age of fear begins. In the weeks that followed, alien empires collapsed in panic. The coalition fractured, its member races turning against each other in chaos and fear. Armies were raised, defenses strengthened. Every species began preparing for war, desperate to defend themselves against the ghosts of Earth. But deep down, they all knew the truth. It didn't matter how many ships they built. It didn't matter how many armies they trained. Nothing could stop what was coming, because humanity had waited once before. And when they returned, there would be no more warnings. The end, or the beginning. Far beyond the edge of the known galaxy, hidden in the darkness of uncharted space, the human fleet gathered. Dreadnoughts, supercarriers, stealth destroyers, a force beyond imagination. And at the center of it all, the largest warship ever built, a command vessel so massive it cast a shadow over entire moons. Inside its bridge, a human admiral watched the stars. He smiled. They had waited long enough. It was time to reshape the galaxy. Humanity had returned, and soon the universe would understand what that truly meant.